Game of Thrones announced this week that they're going to have 4 spin-off shows.
Up to 4 at least. They've commissioned many writers.
So we don't really have many other details around it right now.
They're doing it.
So what would you want to see?
Yeah. First take, of course, is that this is obvious. They're going to do more Game of Thrones, right? Mm-hmm. Next year is the final season.
Right.
So they're not going to let their most successful, highest rated show ever go away. And such a rich world from George R.R. Martin, despite not finishing his world, he's given so much backstory and so much other things. Yeah, there's tons to do. What do you think you would do? I think there's a bunch of options for me.
I think doing like a prequel thing would be cool.
Mm-hmm. That's the safe option. Very obvious.
Actually, shout out Tower of Joy episode aired a year ago today. So happy anniversary to the Tower of Joy episode because it was on my birthday last year.
Oh yeah, you had to rewatch it.
Happy birthday to me, by the way. So I need to sneak that in. But anyways,
no days off.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to look at like what was going on around that. And
so
just, like,
Robert's Rebellion.
Yeah, I suppose
they've already cast young Ned Stark. Mm-hmm. If you like that guy, I think it is easy.
Yeah, might as well.
Young Robert. I mean, I think that'd be really easy for people to latch onto because it's kind of a straightforward conflict with, and you actually get to see like Viserys and like the Targaryens at the end. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah, that was my initial.
A younger Jaime Lannister. Maybe you keep Coster Waldau.
Yeah, you could definitely do
probably
that.
You know.
Sure. Then after that, it was hard for me to really think up what I wanted to see.
Because that's the only thing most viewers would really identify with because it's recent. It's like this happened, a decade before or however much long it was before the show actually started. Everything else is like way backstory that only bookheads and big nerds would actually recognize. Like there's like Aegon's conquest when they take over the continent, start of the Targaryen dynasty, the Dance with Dragons, where like there's tons of dragons and stuff. It was kind of like a power struggle on the family. In the
I don't think they would do that.
Yeah, like those are like
expensive.
See, that's the thing. Like, those are exactly anything with tons of dragons just is not feasible.
No. Yeah, it's funny. They have like what 4 houses or like 4 like main houses.
It's a fuck ton of houses.
Well, I guess
main
it's at this point it's the Targaryens /
Lannisters,
Starks,
Martells.
Yeah,
and that's probably the big ones. And there's like the Tyrells and the other North houses. And
yeah, I feel like you could just branch off and give each one of them their own show if you really wanted to, which I don't foresee them doing. Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting to do the story of the White Walkers.
Yeah,
that would be a good
I immediately thought of like the Children of the Forest or like the old OG like Night's Watch stuff.
Yeah.
Tons of mystical things you could do there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else. I mean, did any other ideas come to mind for you?
I think those are the big things. I mean, doing a Game of Thrones spin-off, you have to, in my opinion, you have to stick to what is appealing to Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. We have the huge Thrones heads, whether they're book readers or not. They don't really count because they're a small amount of the viewing audience that makes this a juggernaut. This show's going to do well regardless. But you don't want to have a Fear the Walking Dead where it's not. I mean, I don't expect something to be critically panned from HBO, especially something that's so important like this.
No.
But that was rated well, and then it went away because no one really cared.
Right.
So you have to kind of, I think the appeal with Game of Thrones, of course, is such an intriguing world that sucks you in right away, but also characters. Mm-hmm. And that's probably why Robert's Rebellion is so easy to do as a first spin-off anyway.
I would bank on that.
Is because there's multiple characters we've already seen.
Right. And
just seeing them younger is like, oh, cool, and the people we've heard about, like Viserys,
Do you think they'll continue to expand on the story? Do you think they'll go...
you mean like after the books?
Yeah, like a post-book type show.
That's a great question. Man.
Because at that point...
Bookheads would be furious.
They would.
They'd be paving new roads when George R. R. still ain't going to finish these books. Oh my God, that'd be awesome. Very possible. Star Wars doing it.
I kind of think that has to be one of them. Because I can't imagine that goes...
That won't be first, but if these spin-offs do well,
why would you...
maybe 10 years later, 7 years later, or however long we go, spin-offs probably will be short amount of seasons. We're not going to go 8 seasons with the spin-offs. That'll probably happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably come out right as George R. R. Martin is releasing the next book. So
and I'll still have one more book to go.
that dude, I mean, he mustn't. I
talked about it a few weeks ago. The books ain't coming. I'm sorry.
He probably never handed a paper on time in college.
Nah, he always asked for an extension.
Yeah, and they were like, "George, it's only a 5-page paper," and he's like, "Well, Matt, page 25.
He's kept
right now.
taking Fs because he just wanted to finish the paper.